Thank you very much. I'm really very happy to be back in Nicosia after so many years. I used to visit Nicosia and Cyprus at the heydays of non-alignment and the cooperation and the coordination between Egypt and Nicosia, between Egypt and Cyprus at that time. So in as much as I remember so many debates, discussions, coordination, etc., between Egypt and Cyprus, I hope that Cyprus would also play a principal role in the months and perhaps few years to come to build peace in the Middle East. Peace based on the consensus of the world that it cannot be attained without a Palestinian state, a viable Palestinian state. I think this is the point that all of us have to work for. What took place in the last few years, last couple of years, was a clear evidence that peace cannot be attained without bearing in mind the considerations, the rights, the obligations of all parties, including the Palestinian party and the Israeli party. It is also important to remind this august audience that in as much as initiatives are being proposed, most important of them is what President Trump has initiated and in fact succeeded in establishing ceasefire in Gaza after 2 years of destruction, of violation of international law, and in fact doing havoc with the whole system, legal system of the world and UN system. But again, we have an opportunity to establish peace. Point to begin was what President Trump has done by initiating, insisting, building the ceasefire agreement which was signed in Egypt in Sharm el-Sheikh last month. Then we have a beginning. It is so difficult, but it could be done. The 20 points proposed by President Trump contain issues that will have to be tackled and agreements that have to be achieved in order to establish the balance needed for real peace to prevail. That is, a Palestinian state, a viable Palestinian state, a viable system of security for all, and to build the possibility and plan for Israel and Palestine to live together. It is possible. It is not that difficult. But of course, there are forces against that in the region and perhaps also around the region. The possibilities are there. But we cannot reach peace without giving the Palestinians their rights and Palestinians and Israelis and everybody their security. I am among those who believe that the beginning is there. The ceasefire, despite the violations, daily violations by the Israeli army, but still there is an opportunity to build that peace, to start the process for peace. Peace means end of military occupation of the West Bank, of Gaza, and build an edifice of cooperation, live together, accepting the existence of the State of Israel and its membership in the Society of Middle Eastern Nations, and giving the Palestinians their right of self-determination and to live as a state, respectable people, and to work together with us to build a new Middle East. We are here in Eastern Mediterranean, and I believe that we have to work to get both the MENA region and Eastern Mediterranean as one large region, based on peace, respect of the rights of all members of the family of nations of this vast region, and start opening up, start working together, start building not only peace or security, but also prosperity. And this is possible. Of course, I see that the current Israeli government cannot speak about peace convincingly. What is going on in the West Bank, as what was going on in Gaza, is a very clear evidence that still there are forces, leaders, officials that do not accept the idea of peace or real peace. I hope that the initiative of President Trump, starting the ceasefire and proposing the 20 points, should be borne in mind with a lot of care. Among those points was a reference to the rights of the Palestinians to self-determination. This is a basic point. If there is a state of Israel and other states in the region, Palestinians should have their own state. And if we have this as a goal, so many changes should take place. Hamas was mentioned, that their days are over. I believe that the forces in Israel that insist on occupation, insist on changing the nature of the West Bank and Gaza, should be stopped. We on the Arab side are ready to start a life, a process of cooperation with Israel. The Arab Initiative, the famous Arab Initiative of 2002, was clear that we are ready to live with Israel, to cooperate with Israel, to normalize relations with Israel, to recognize Israel, if Israel also show readiness to carry the responsibilities of peace. The issue is difficult because of the absence of a party in Israel that really believes that peace should come and that the Palestinians should have a state and that we all have to live in cooperation and doing whatever we can to have the Middle East as a stage for peace and cooperation. Is this possible? Yes, of course it is possible. But when I hear ministers in the Israeli cabinet, members of the cabinet, talking about the annexation of the West Bank, in addition to what has been declared about the annexation of other Arab territories. One should be very worried, because this will take us nowhere, and it is impossible to be accepted or to stay as a possibility of life in this region. I am, despite all this, I am optimistic, because now the world has awakened, has witnessed the dangers inherent in the continuity of the situation in the Middle East as is, meaning occupation of Palestinian lands, the plans to even expand this occupation, annexation of Arab lands, which will certainly bring us back to confrontation and bloody confrontation, which nobody, including all of us, of course, would wish to see. We want peace to prevail. We want the Palestinians to have a state, viable state, and end this conflict. Now that President Trump has started influencing, proposing good beginning, which is a ceasefire, the next step should be to build on that ceasefire and prevent its violations. We can build on it. If so, then we have an opportunity. This opportunity will have to be seized by all of us, by all of us. The new Middle East, the new vast area called Middle East and Eastern Mediterranean, will benefit a lot. But before that, we have to be sure that the rights of all parties will be respected. We cannot have peace just to serve the goals of one party. This will not be done. When we hear some on the Israeli side talking about annexation, talking about the refusal to accept that Palestinian people must have their own rights, when we hear them, we see that this is a language of the past. The language of the future should be, yes, Israel has the right to exist as a member of the Middle Eastern family of nations. But Israel has to accept that others have the same right, and the Palestinians in particular have the same right. If the Israelis can accept that, I believe everything will fall into place. The solution is there, very clear. A viable Israeli state is there already, and we need a viable Palestinian state in the territories occupied since 1967. Two viable states, and when I say, by the way, viable Palestinian state, I mean a responsible Palestinian state, because viability comes with responsibility that they have to play with all of us to build a new peaceful region in the Middle East. Can Israel play that game? Until now, many of us doubt that. When we hear them talking about expansion, and the Knesset is about to issue a resolution to annex the West Bank and to prevent the establishment of a Palestinian state, how can we work for peace for that? This will never be accepted, but we will be entering again and again into the same confrontational, bloody conflict. I request all of you, I urge all of you to again read the news coming from the occupied territories in Gaza and in the West Bank. We need this attitude to change. The idea, the strange idea that peace comes only if the other party surrenders. The other party will not surrender. So let us hope that our colleagues all over the Middle East and here in the Eastern Mediterranean, including those in Israel, that they should know that there is an opportunity. We have to seize. If we destroy this opportunity, we will see more of 7th of October and 8th of October and 10th of October, because why should the Palestinians surrender? They have the same right as other people to live in dignity and in their own state, not denying the existence of the state of Israel also. So just think of it. Why not having a Palestinian state, viable Palestinian state, responsible one, because viability means responsibility. This is the solution. There will be no other solution unless we work together and call on all parties to come to their senses and establish peace, live together, work together. That would benefit all of us as individuals, would benefit people in this region, Eastern Mediterranean, will benefit all the people, in fact, around the world. And you see how the young generation around the world is revolting, is insisting that there must be peace, fair peace in the Middle East. I hope I'm right, and I wish you all the best, and I'm so happy to be in Nicosia again. Thank you very much.